Okay, so on your notes from yesterday, change the 4 to a 3. Okay, you guys, let's go. So I know that we're kind of cramped, and I'm going to do number 7 on the bottom, and we're going to do number 8 on the back, okay? So if I know that the cosine of theta equals a negative 1/3 is in quadrant 3. So the first thing I'm going to look at is this. So cosine is x over r. So if my x is negative 1, I don't know what my y is, but I know my r is 3. So I have to find my y, and that's the first thing I have to do. So I'm going to do negative 1 squared plus y squared equals 3 squared, which gives me 1 plus y squared equals 9. So when I subtract 1, I get y squared equals 8. And the square root of y squared gives me 2 squared root of 2, right? So when I take the square root, though, I get a plus or a minus, right? And normally we use the positive. But what has to be true about the y to be in the third quadrant? It has to be negative. So my y, I want the y value this time. So my y is going to be a negative 2 square root of 2. That's 4 times 2, and the square root of 4 is 2 every day, love bug. 2, 2, 2. Yeah. 2 square roots of 2. Isaac, what do you need? Okay, get a pen and write and put it back when you're done. Okay. So if cosine is x over r, then the first one that I can find now is the sine of theta, which is going to be y over r. It's going to be 2 square roots of 2 over 3. And it's minus, sorry. So the tangent of theta is going to be what? Thank you. It's y over x. Yeah, it is. Sine over cosine. So y this time is negative 2 square roots of 2. And my x is negative 1. Oh, yeah. Well, because I was just arguing with you about this. So negative divided by negative is 2 square roots of 2. So the cotangent, okay, Isaac, seriously, what are you doing? Sit down and take the notes. Okay, sit down and take the notes. Focus on me right now. It's all, look at me. It's all about me. Okay, are we back? So the cotangent we have to flip. So, first of all, a negative divided by negative is positive. And can I have a square root of 2 on the bottom? So I'm going to rationalize, which is going to give me the square root of 2 over... Now, what is the square root of 2 times the square root of 2? 2. So 2 times 2 is... Can I reduce the square root of 2 over 4? You cannot, because it's got a square root there. Okay, so now we're to the ones where you're afraid. The secant of theta and the cosecant of theta, and I'm not sure why these scare you so much. Yeah, they're different. So, first of all, one way to remember this, sine starts with S. You can't match your S's. So, it's not secant with sine, it's secant with cosine. So this is super hard because watch, it's the inverse, right? I'm going to take the cosine and invert it, which is going to give me 3 over negative 1, which is a scary negative 3. And the cosecant, the cosecant, we're going to flip the what? The sign. So I'm going to have 3 over negative 2 squared to 2. So what do I do? Okay. So it's 3 over negative 4. Wow, that was scary. It's scary. Not at all. Okay, so let's do the tangent on the back so we have more room to write. So I have the tangent of theta equals 2/5, and it's in quadrant 3. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw, first of all, it's in quadrant 3, so it's down here. Tangent is y over x. If it's y over x, but it's in the third quadrant, what's true about the y and the x? They both have to be negative. So on top is, that's the y, so that's going this way. And this one is the negative 5, and this is the r. So what's the first thing I have to find? So I'm going to take negative 2 squared plus negative 5 squared equals r squared. 2 squared is 4. So I'm taking the square root on both sides. So r is the square root of 29. And the radius always has to be positive, so I don't need the negative one. I don't even have to consider it. The radius is always positive. So now we have to find our values. And so this is going to be really difficult. Are you ready? I'm going to go tangent of theta to cotangent of theta. So if tangent is 2/5, cotangent is, woo, that was hard. They are. Okay, so this is going to get way harder now. Are you ready? Sine is y over r. Negative 2 over the square root of 29. I have to rationalize it. Whew, that was hard. Hard. Cosine of theta is going to get even harder. X over r. My x this time is negative 5 over the square root of 29. We have to rationalize. Whew. Okay, now we're going to do the scary ones. The secant of theta and the cosecant of theta. Yeah, every time. So, look, the secant starts with s, so I can't use the sine, so I'm going to use the cosine. So watch, this is going to be scary. So it started as negative 5 over the square root of 29. Are you ready? Here we go. Okay, are you ready, Isaac? Okay, it's the square root of 29 over 5. Woo! So the cosecant doesn't go with cosine, it goes with sine. So what's the original one? We're going to flip it. Woo! Look at that. Because it was in the third quadrant, so we had to make the x and y negative. I'm for real mad that it took you 20 minutes to start taking notes.